We live in a world that idolizes comfort, one that whispers, avoid pain at all costs, take the easy road. But let me ask you, has comfort ever truly brought you fulfillment? Sure, it feels good in the moment, a fleeting pleasure, a temporary escape. But it doesn't build you, it doesn't challenge you, and it certainly doesn't prepare you for the chaos of life. Real growth, meaningful growth, requires suffering. Not the kind of suffering that happens to you randomly, the uncontrollable pain of existence, but the suffering you choose voluntarily, the suffering you accept as the price of becoming more than what you are now. When you willingly step into discomfort, you declare that you are not a victim of life. You become an active participant in your own story, someone who confronts their limitations head on. You decide to lift the heavier weight, to wake up an hour earlier, to endure the rejection that comes with chasing a dream. And in that decision, you build character. You construct a version of yourself that can handle not just the chaos of today, but the storms of tomorrow. Choosing to face challenges voluntarily is one of the most transformative decisions you can make. It's not about inviting unnecessary pain, but understanding that growth often demands discomfort. When you willingly take on hardship, whether it's the discipline of waking up early, pushing your body to its limits, or stepping outside your comfort zone, you are actively shaping your character. It's in those moments of struggle that you discover who you are and what you're truly capable of. Think about it. A person who avoids difficulty at all costs remains stagnant, confined within the boundaries of their fears and limitations. But the person who leans into struggle, who says, this is hard, but I'll do it anyway, builds resilience. They develop a strength that cannot be taken away because it's earned through effort. The very act of enduring challenges transforms you. It sharpens your focus, strengthens your resolve, and teaches you that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. Voluntary suffering builds a bridge between who you are today and who you want to become. Each time you choose discipline over laziness, courage over fear, or effort over complacency, you're making an investment in your future self. It's not about seeking perfection, but progress. Growth is messy, uncomfortable, and often exhausting, but it's also where meaning and fulfillment are found. When you embrace the struggle, you take control of your narrative. You stop being a victim of circumstances and become the architect of your life. Yes, it's hard to face difficulty head on. It requires grit, determination, and a willingness to endure. But on the other side of that effort is transformation. It's the realization that the pain of growth is temporary, but the strength it creates lasts a lifetime. Struggle, when aligned with a purpose, becomes a force of transformation rather than a burden. Life is inherently challenging, and trying to avoid every difficulty only leaves you stagnant, unfulfilled, and unprepared for the inevitable storms. Purpose-driven struggle, on the other hand, gives meaning to the hardship you endure. It becomes the fuel that propels you forward, shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you commit to a goal, you invite struggle as a companion. It could be the pain of building a skill, the discipline required to improve your health, or the courage to pursue a dream despite fear and doubt. Each obstacle becomes an opportunity to prove to yourself that you can rise above your limitations. Purpose transforms suffering into a meaningful challenge, one that calls out your best qualities and demands growth. It gives you a reason to wake up every morning and push forward, even when it's hard. Think about how deeply rooted purpose amplifies your endurance. People don't climb mountains or run marathons just for the pain. It's the sense of achievement, the pride of overcoming, and the clarity that comes from testing one's limits. The same is true in every area of life. When your struggle is tied to a vision of who you want to be or what you want to contribute, it becomes bearable, even inspiring. You begin to see difficulty not as a roadblock, but as a stepping stone toward becoming the person you were meant to be. Purpose-driven struggle also teaches you to embrace accountability. It reminds you that you are responsible for your choices and your growth. There's no shortcut to excellence, no easy path to transformation. But when you accept the challenge and step into the discomfort with a clear goal in mind, you take control of your story. You stop letting life happen to you and start shaping your reality with intention. In the end, it's the struggle, aligned with purpose, that leads to fulfillment. It's the sacrifices you make for a dream, the discipline you maintain for a better future, and the battles you fight to stay true to yourself that define your life. Embrace the struggle, not as a punishment, but as a necessary journey toward becoming the best version of yourself. Suffering, when approached with the right mindset, becomes one of life's greatest teachers. It strips away distractions, excuses, and comfort, revealing the truth about who you are and what you're capable of. It forces you to confront your limits, your fears, and your weaknesses, and in doing so, it offers the opportunity to cultivate discipline, a virtue that transforms chaos into order, dreams into achievement, and pain into growth. Discipline isn't born in comfort, it's forged in the fire of struggle. It's easy to stay motivated when things are smooth, but real discipline emerges when you push through difficulty, when you show up despite every fiber of your being telling you to quit. Suffering becomes the crucible where discipline is tested, refined, and strengthened. Each moment of hardship you endure while staying committed to your goals is a step closer to mastery over yourself. When suffering teaches discipline, it does more than help you achieve external success. It builds inner resilience. You learn to control your impulses, manage your emotions, and keep moving forward even when the odds are stacked against you. These lessons aren't temporary. They stay with you, becoming the foundation for how you approach every challenge in life. Discipline teaches you that success isn't about instant gratification, but consistent effort over time. Suffering also forces you to clarify what truly matters. When life becomes difficult, the trivial fades away, leaving behind only the priorities worth fighting for. Discipline, born from suffering, helps you stay focused on those priorities even when distractions or doubts arise. You begin to value the process, understanding that every small, intentional action builds toward a greater outcome. Ultimately, suffering as a teacher of discipline empowers you to take control of your life. It shows you that while pain may be inevitable, your response to it is a choice. It tells you that you've done enough, that stepping out of your zone of ease is unnecessary. But while comfort provides momentary relief, it often comes at the cost of stagnation. Growth, on the other hand, demands something entirely different. It requires discomfort, struggle, and a willingness to face challenges head-on. The dichotomy of comfort and growth is one of life's great paradoxes. To truly live, you must be willing to suffer. Growth doesn't happen in moments of ease. It happens when you push beyond what feels manageable. It happens when you stretch yourself beyond your current capabilities, when you risk failure, and when you endure the growing pains of change. It's in those moments of discomfort that you discover strength you didn't know you had, potential that was waiting to be unlocked. Growth requires you to leave behind what is familiar, step into the unknown, and trust that the struggle will transform you. Comfort keeps you where you are, but growth propels you forward. And while comfort might feel good in the short term, it never gives you the fulfillment that comes from achieving something you once thought was impossible. Growth teaches you resilience, discipline, and purpose. It forces you to confront your fears and weaknesses, but in doing so, it offers you the chance to overcome them. You must learn to embrace discomfort as a sign that you're on the right path. The greatest achievements in life are born from the moments when you chose growth over ease, when you turned away from the lure of comfort and stepped into the arena of effort and perseverance. This is where character is built and where purpose is found. The dichotomy of comfort and growth is a choice you face every day. Will you remain where you are, accepting the limits of comfort, or will you take the harder road, knowing that growth lies on the other side? The path of growth isn't easy, but it is worth it. Each challenge you face, each step you take, brings you closer to the person you're meant to become. It's not about avoiding comfort entirely, but about recognizing that real fulfillment, real success, and real meaning come from choosing growth when it matters most. Obstacles will come. Choosing to embrace voluntary suffering is one of the most profound decisions you can make. It's not about seeking pain for the sake of it, but about willingly taking on challenges that push you beyond your limits. This choice isn't easy. It's demanding, uncomfortable, and often isolating. But it's through this self-imposed struggle that you uncover the deeper layers of meaning in your life. Meaning isn't handed to you. It's carved out through effort, discipline, and perseverance. When you voluntarily face discomfort, you take control of your life in a way that reactive suffering can never allow. Instead of waiting for life's inevitable challenges to strike, you meet them head-on, prepared and determined to carry the weight willingly, knowing that in doing so you become stronger. You learn to bear responsibility not because it's easy, but because it's necessary for growth. This willingness to suffer for something greater than yourself transforms hardship into a tool for self-discovery and purpose. The act of choosing voluntary suffering shifts your mindset. You begin to see obstacles not as threats, but as opportunities to rise above mediocrity. You develop resilience, the kind that allows you to stand firm in the face of adversity. And as you endure, you find that the suffering becomes less about the pain and more about the transformation it brings. You emerge with a sense of accomplishment, knowing you've done what others are too afraid to attempt. Voluntary suffering teaches you discipline, focus, and the value of delayed gratification. It reminds you that the most meaningful achievements require effort and sacrifice. This is where purpose is forged, in the willingness to endure for the sake of something bigger. You realize that by carrying the burdens you've chosen, you gain control over your own narrative. You become an active participant in your life, not a passive observer. This path isn't about seeking perfection. It's about striving for progress. It's about understanding that the discomfort you face today builds the foundation for a more fulfilled tomorrow. When you voluntarily choose suffering, you say to yourself and the world, I am willing to do what it takes to grow. And in that willingness lies the power to transform your life and the lives of those around you. You don't just survive, you thrive, because you've embraced the truth that meaning is found on the other side of effort. So the next time you face a choice between comfort and effort, ask yourself, who do I want to become? You want to grow, to lead, to live a life of purpose, then choose suffering. Because the discomfort you endure today is the foundation of the strength you'll need tomorrow. Step into the fire of voluntary struggle, embrace the pain that shapes you, and in doing so, transform yourself into someone who can face life with courage, resilience, and purpose.